Here we go. This is it, episode 563, No Laugh Track podcast here at Acme Comedy Company in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm Justin Severson, get to host this each and every week. Last week, the guest was Justin McKinney, who had 12 years in between visits on this podcast.
Justin on Justin interview.
Yes, two spellings of Justin in one podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's
What?
O-M.
Juston?
Yeah.
What did he do it himself when he was 13? What happened? Do we know what
He says that his father says that when he asked his father, why did you name me Justin O-N, he says, well, because you were born just on time. And he's like, yeah, but just
I think that sounds like a rationalization.
But just in time works
as well.
And more people say that.
Right,
actually.
right.
Yeah.
And
so I'm here with Jackie Kashian, who has not been here. I mean, you were here 12 years ago, also 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6.
Right, and 20 and
Yes.
25. It's interesting that, because I wanted to change the spelling of my name when I was 13. That's why I brought it up, to Jacqui. And my stepmother, and I quote, said, we're not doing this 13-year-old bullshit. And then we didn't.
Do it one more time.
Jacqui.
U-I.
Because my full name is Jacqueline.
Okay.
And I wanted to speak Jackie, Jacqui. Jackie. I wanted to be more interesting, Justin. How desperately interesting can you be? It turns out I'm not. I have always been.
This generation of 12 and 13, 14-year-olds, that's super trendy, is to change your name.
Oh, it has always been the way.
Yeah.
We got shut down in this generation. Parents now are just like, no, I wanted to do that. Yeah, do whatever you want. Call yourself Elvis. Do whatever you need to do. Am I calling you Apple? What am I doing?
My first wife, as
Yeah?
a matter of fact. We had been dating for, a year or so, and I met a mutual friend of hers. And I was describing who I was dating, and they're like, oh, yeah. And they started using a different name for her. And I'm
Right.
like, who are you talking about?
Yes.
And they're like, yeah, her. And they show me a picture. I'm like, that's not her name.
Right. I have several friends. One has changed her name to Lennox
Oh.
out of the blue. And somebody else, a woman, friend of mine, changed her name to Mannix. Not the TV show. But in real life, somebody will sometimes still call them Catherine and Mary. So a lot of it's
classics there.
sort of just some Irish rebellion is what that sounds like.
I think so.
So
I wanted to point out that I think it's a perfect coincidence that when I walked from my car into the building a few minutes ago, that there was a Kia Telluride right by the front door.
Oh, because you have been listening to the Jackie and Laurie Show? Is that
is
what
correct.
I'm hearing? The Jackie and Laurie Show and the Dork Forest are my two podcasts.
Yes.
I don't listen to any podcast. Not entirely true. Just listen to the Julia Louis-Dreyfus podcast, Wiser Than Me, where she interviews old ladies that are famous, like Sally Field and Carol Burnett and Jane Fonda and Gloria Steinem is the one that I'm in the middle of. She did Debbie Allen. She did In a Garden. I mean, it's like she's got one coming up with Sound of Music. Julie Andrews. There we go.
Like Andrew Julia.
Right. So here's the crazy thing about Wiser Than Me. She does her own ads. That's weird, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. You print money from your many, many successful. Why are you telling me that first of all, don't believe that you use
Headspace
HelloFresh
or whatever?
Yeah, it's not. I don't believe you.
You don't think she's setting up her own domains?
No, GoDaddy. I don't think it's happening. I don't know what. It's so distracting that because they're having like real conversations about being old and about being women, about being famous, and about being whatever industry they were in.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, you guys, skincare, it's important. And you're like, oh my Christ, if I could find you and just kind of just clock you upside the head a little bit. Anyway, so
unlike the Jackie and Laurie Show, when it's like, we're going to take hey, what time is it? Let's take a break.
We're taking a break
Yeah.
because we're hoping that someone will give us a sweaty 20 at some point, because we need a sweaty 20 occasionally.
That's right. So Telluride.
Telluride, Colorado,
Your favorite place.
objectively, one of the most beautiful places on the planet. It is genuinely gorgeous.
I saw some pictures you posted. Yes.
It is, and it doesn't, of course, do it any credit. It turns out I have never been to a part, because I've been to Aspen, I've been to Vail, because the billionaires will bring comedians to them on the backs of elephants, and it's fine. But I've never had to drive up that mountain.
Yeah.
And so I did not know this about. I knew this because this happens like, the Mackinac Bridge. It's the poor man's fancy pants. It's in northern Michigan. It's over whatever. It's over Lake Michigan.
I'm picturing those long bridges in Florida. Is the one
in Florida has some. San Francisco has them. I get a little dizzy when I'm doing it.
Sure.
So driving up to Telluride, like a gajillion foot drop, I almost passed out like 2 or 3 times. And I'm literally just white knuckling it at 15 miles an hour. There's a row of like 6 cars behind me. And I'm like, you guys are fucked. I don't know what to do. And I'm just chanting any prayer. I'm just like, God, please don't let me die this way. This would really disappoint everyone. This is a rental car. And I'm just like, this is, and it's a 2-bedroom SUV. It was the biggest, Ford Explorer that I've ever driven in my life.
Sure.
And so I get to the hotel is not just in Telluride. It's up the mountain some more.
Oh, good.
Because they want to put me in the nicest. It's very sweet. I'm never returning. Not unless someone else. And I literally abandoned my rental car. And I said, you guys have to figure out how to get this car off the mountain. It didn't pay enough. Part of the payment to do the Telluride Blues Festival is twofold. One, you get to go to Telluride and see the beautiful surroundings. And the second one, you get to go see the blues. I don't care. I listen to albums. I don't go see live music. I'm a monster. It is a waste to bring me to a beautiful music festival. Someone else who cares should get to go.
I love that.
And then second of all, okay, it's very pretty. I need someone else to drive me. I need you to fly me there. And then I also have oxygen problems. This is not healthy and has never, even when I weighed 40 pounds less, which, by the way, was about 5 years ago, very sad that I've gained 40 pounds in the last 4 years. But
I saw you post about canned oxygen. Were you really using canned oxygen?
it's called Boost. I use it when I do the Denver Comedy Works.
Really?
Because Denver itself is too high for me.
No kidding.
Much
I've
less.
never-
Yeah, it's just it looks like whippets, right? It looks like you're doing
I've done
whippets.
that.
Sure, everyone's done whippets. I've did whippets here 25 years ago. Hey Louis, how's it going, man? We snuck one time into the thing and used it was a guy who's dead now. And here's the good news. I haven't done whippets in a long time.
Those two things aren't connected, by the way.
No, the fact that, drugs and alcohol might have killed that guy. Kids, anyway.
Stick with caffeine.
Stick with the little cold brew.
Yeah,
Keep it
there you
going.
go. There you go.
Anyway, so yeah, they've canned. It's $15 a can, and it's super light. And you go, if this is a placebo, you have won.
Okay, sure.
Because it's forced air, is all it is.
Is it one use, or do you keep
No.
you use that all
No,
day?
it works.
Like-
The tall ones, I can. It's mostly. It'll last a day.
Interesting. Interesting. So if there was a helicopter ride involved with another invite next year, would that work for you?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, because, and I don't dislike, like Bonnie Raitt and Taj Mahal were there last year, and I would have loved that.
Oh, wow.
This year, a guy named Gary, who's famous, by the way.
Yeah, look,
And
Gary Clark Jr.
Gary
right?
Clark Jr. and also a man named maybe Ben Baker? Mr. Baker?
Oh, yes, Ben Harper.
Harper.
Yeah, Ben Baker.
Ben Harper.
Ben Harper the Baker.
Music is my life. Everyone should know that. And I enjoy music. I can't, the comics I was working with, 3 male comics, couldn't remember any of them. And all 3 of them were like, Jackie, we've worked together. We've met each other. And I'm like, so by the end of this sort of, for me, it was a lot. And they weren't psyched either. There was the other 2 guys I was working with. I was like, I got a 75% chance of recognizing you gentlemen again the next time we work together. And one of the guys, And he was like, it should be 90%, Jackie. This has been a lot. And I'm like, I know, you'd think. Anyway.
Even with going through like this,
this hard weekend.
Yeah, anxiety-ridden weekend.
We should have PSD together. This should be...
That's the way to put it.
Right. But, like I worked with... I'm spacing his name. He's famous. We went to Iraq together with Scott Kennedy. He owns his own production company. He's essentially the clean version of Bill Burr. What the fuck is his name?
Oh, my goodness.
He's Nate
Bargatze?
Bargatze.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's famous.
He is. They just announced he's going to host SNL for a second time.
He's a giant star. He is beloved. I have his phone number every time I go to Nashville, which is where he lives outside of Nashville now. I always text him and go, God, I wish you were more successful, because his picture is everywhere. Nate Bargatze.
But yet you're like, Nate something.
Nate? I couldn't remember his first name, but as soon as I remembered his first name, his last name came.
I love it.
I'd love to tell you that I've always had a terrible memory, and it's true. I've always had that sort of face thing where I can't remember people's faces, and it doesn't matter. It isn't race related. It isn't. You'll be happy to know that my racism is entirely institutionalized. All I have is white privilege.
There you go.
If I don't like you, I've never used the N-word. There's no parade for that. But here's the scoop. I would never call anybody, like, I'm not using that word. If I hate you, I take the time to write.
There you go.
I hurt your feelings very specifically.
There you go.
I don't do it because of what nationality or race or creed you are.
Love it. Love it. Hey, so the last time you were here was right about this time last year.
Oh, yeah.
Since then, After Midnight debuted on television, and you got to do that show with Lori and Maria, your buddies.
Right. I know it.
How cool
they
is
both
that?
have gotten to do it more times than me. I've only got to do it once.
Well, we don't have to mention
And
that.
here's this thing. Shut up, Jackie. Some people haven't got to do it at all. So there you go.
There you go.
I have this to say about After Midnight. If you're watching it, CBS, after Colbert, it is awesome. She is so good.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, she's like 30, and she's so mellow, and she's like, it is the most comfortable television I've ever done.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is, she's like, allow me to lower the stakes. And then she got a second season.
Yeah.
And so it couldn't be more comfortable. And they have people writing the jokes for you. You only have an hour and a half before the show.
Thank you for saying that. That's interesting.
Right, and they have all day, but they only have the day, and so they write the jokes, and then you can do extra jokes if you want,
Sure.
and plus they want you to be anecdotal and kind of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could not be more mellow, and I was like, I would like to make another SAG scale, $1,400 or whatever it was. I would like to be on it every other day. That'd be great.
Right?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I know. Yeah, it was. That's a fun show, and it's an hour long. So
Right.
Social
was a
media
half
wise,
an
they
hour.
cut that thing up into a million pieces and throw that online next day.
Oh my God, it's perfect for Chop Chop.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw this weekend in New York City. They're having the first ever silent stand-up comedy festival. Do you know anything about what that is? Silent stand-up comedy festival.
I'd love to tell you what I think about it.
Oh no.
I don't know anything about it.
You don't know anything about
Sounds
it.
like a terrible idea. It sounds like mime.
It's
Is it
they're
clowning?
performing on a rooftop, and because of sound restrictions, the audience wears headphones. That's the part of that it's silent.
Oh, so the laughs are real.
The laughs are real, but the performer's voice is not being projected to the audience. It's just going directly to headphones. Sort of, they're comparing it to the silent discos that apparently exist in places. You know, the silent discos you used to go to.
Who?
Dulce Sloan is one of the headliners of this event.
Oh, Dulce Sloan.
Yeah.
I love Dulce Sloan.
You've never heard anything like that?
No, I have heard something like it, but it was an experimental stand-up comedy thing in L.A. that Ian Abramson.
Yes.
Do you remember that guy?
Yeah, of course.
And he would do this thing where you had to perform in a room and the audience was in another room.
That's
And it was
right.
being projected. If I can see the people laugh and kind of hear them laugh, that's fine. It's called 7 Minutes in Purgatory.
Yes.
Was what he called it.
Did you
and
do it?
I have done it, and it was brutally painful. Just
Okay.
because, then you're just running lines,
Yeah.
and it's fine if you need to run lines, but it doesn't feel performative,
Okay.
right? So if are they all in the same room? They're just wearing headphones
believe
because it's so hard to.
Yes.
It's just probably also hard to hear.
That could be too. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not sure I'd
Right.
want to attend one of those. I guess just for the experience for once. But
Nope.
let's hope that doesn't
Anyway.
take over, huh?
Right, it seems unlikely.
Seems very-
It's kind of like Zoom though, where you're just seeing jazz hands.
Right?
Right?
You're not doing Zoom shows anymore, are you?
A little.
Really?
Lori really likes them. Lori Kilmartin and I have the podcast, The Jackie and Lori Show. And
Yes.
so for our Patreon, there's a couple things that we do extra for the Patreon people and for the Max Fun people because we're on a
Network, right?
a network.
Yeah.
And the Max Fun. So we'll sometimes do a Zoom show for the Max Fun people. We'll sometimes do a Zoom stand-up show where we work on new stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then we just invite, it's by invite only. So feel free to join Max Fun or go to our Patreon. The other thing you get at Patreon is you get the video of the Jackie and Lori Show, which is just Lori with her shitty audio setup. I literally, Kyle and I had small temper tantrums, and I gave her my gaming headset. And I'm
Wow,
like,
that's very
because she
generous.
was just using her AirPods. And I'm like, nobody can hear you.
Yeah, no.
Why don't you stick a tin can to a string and shout into the internet? Because I'm going to moida you.
Yeah.
Moida.
Yeah.
And then, but you could also get stickers, which are designed by me.
Oh.
With different quotes from the Jackie and Lori Show. Like
Oh,
I
that's
did,
wonderful.
I find like stock photos. Like my favorite one is there was a sale at the evil sticker company, Sticker Mule. The last stickers I got from Sticker Mule. Sticker Mule is a very cheap. How do they do it? Probably, in retrospect, slavery, because they you could get 50 stickers for like $9.
Okay.
And there were only like $50, $10 Patreons that we have. And so I make the stickers, I get them printed at Sticker Mule, and I would send them out, right? Lori would send them out. But now I have to find a new sticker company, and there are 1,000, it turns out. But so Sticker Mule guy. So wait, the sticker is just a sort of a really ripped boxing guy, beautiful. And there was a deal where you could get a sparkle sticker for $9, and so I had it printed on that. And then it just said something that Lori said that made me laugh on the show, which was how male comics picture themselves before they go on stage, shadow boxing, just ripped like Jesus, going up, looking like an amazing.
Ready to kill that crowd.
Right, just ready to moida.
Yeah.
And so I printed that one. But the Sticker Mule guy lost his tiny lizard mind after Captain Knobjob got shot at. And his teleprompter, you remember how he got shot at, Donald Trump, and his teleprompter exploded and it cut his ear, right? So it was, still not cool. Though
Correct.
I promise you, the weirdest, I saw a spreadsheet, if not every single, but almost every single person that has been a mass murderer at a school or whatever and has taken a shot at different presidents are Republicans or children of Republicans. Every single one?
Okay.
That's so... Why would you vote for that? They're killing your children. Anyway, but the thing is the
Your sticker guy went
the
crazy?
the Sticker Mule guy, after the Trump got shot at, it was very scary and sad and shouldn't happen.
Yep.
But he said, you got to know that we at Sticker Mule support Donald Trump. And I wanted to write back, you got to know that we independent people who want $9 stickers are all a bunch of hippie skippy crystal clutchers that aren't going to vote for Donald Trump.
no.
What are you doing?
Oh, no.
Why would you break your company like this,
Oh,
sir?
no.
And he did. They took him off the board, like he literally, and yeah, he doubled down and he doubled down again, and then they were like, okay, just step away from the Twitter account. And he sent it as a mass email. And so I posted a thing at my Instagram going, now why would you have told me that? I mean, I assume millionaires and billionaires are sometimes banana heads and occasionally Nazis. But why would you out loud? Because now I have to go find another sticker company because I
So-
can't overtly support you.
Yeah, it sounds like there's an opening in the market for some discount stickers.
Right, and I've been looking. It turns out I don't know how they were doing it
Oh, interesting.
because I'm going to have to spend a little more money when January comes around and the next 3 month
This
stickers
son
for
of
the
a
Jackie
bee.
and Lori. Yeah, so be
He
it.
really screwed you over.
I
I
have
want
to
to ask
be-
you about episodes of The Dork Forest, specifically.
Yeah.
Your husband was a guest recently.
Yes.
And I did not watch that one, but I did see that there's a video version, and the two of you are both
In separate rooms.
in the same house.
Yes. Well, I mean, the show is I record on Riverside.
It's so silly.
I know, but you have a beautiful setup and you have help.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I use Riverside FM, and he's sitting in the living room with his mother, and I'm sitting in the garage, hiding from him and his mother. No, I love him and his mother. And yeah, it's funny. He did tell me that Chris, my mother-in-law, has been watching the Jackie and Lori videos because after a week, they're no longer just available to Patreon; they're public.
Okay, yeah.
And I guess Chris was watching one, and luckily, he said, "Luckily, my mother fell asleep when you were saying what a pain in the ass it is to have her to live with us." And I was like, I also said that I love her, and I have said to her face that it is challenging.
Yeah.
And he goes, "I know. That's why it's okay. I mean, it's funny though that she was there watching you talk about it to others."
Oh, no.
And I was like, I know. And I hope we're all on our best behavior, the three of us. We live essentially in a house the size of this stage.
Yeah.
And we're stacked like firewood with 2 dogs and a cat, and everybody's dying. Everybody is slowly dying. We are running a hospice. The animals are dying. We're dying.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's a lot. But we will persevere.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What you're always into a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff, in my opinion. What do you?
Interesting.
I got here. You were playing a game. What are you playing these days?
Oh, I've been playing that game for about 3 or 4 years. It's a skinned version of Bejeweled. Like, you know how Candy Crush is just Bejeweled?
Yes.
It's just a match 3. This is it's called Marvel Puzzle Quest. There's
Okay.
also a Marvel Snap, which is a card game that I tried to get into, but I only have 3 or 4 hours a day to play one game.
Oh.
So let us not have 2 games, because then it becomes 8 hours.
Okay.
So Marvel Puzzle Quest is a match 3, and what it is, you match 3, and the colors that you match power up the superhero that you're playing. And Marvel Puzzle Quest has hundreds and hundreds of characters. They don't care. They have gone into the long boxes, and you can be anything. You could be Throg, which is the Thor frog character,
my.
which is part of the Pet Avengers.
Of course.
Anyway, there's no movie Pet Avengers, but yeah. What else is happening?
What are you watching?
What am I watching?
Watching anything interesting?
Well, A Gentleman in Moscow is on Amazon Prime. I had to buy it. Very annoying because it's a Paramount Plus show, and we have Paramount Plus as well. I watched the Paralympics, which was epic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have breakdancing, and that was sad because there's a breakdancing troupe of essentially disabled athletes.
How do you know this?
Because they performed for the opening ceremony.
Oh.
They're called Ill Abilities. And it's like one guy with one leg, there's a guy on crutches, there's one woman, and then but they can break. Man, they're amazing. And you know how there were a couple of terrible break dancers,
Oh, yes.
and there was the woman from Australia, Ray Gunn, and she seems to have ruined it for everyone,
Yes.
which is so sad because I watched breakdancing because I love all sort of X-gamey kind of sports.
Okay.
If I did any kind of sports, which clearly I don't have fear of heights and all kinds of oxygen issues and can't, and either vertigo or something like vertigo, or what I define as vertigo, I couldn't, and this doesn't accelerate. So, but so I watched a lot of Olympics and I watched a lot of Paralympics, and my favorite, I think, might have been rugby, wheelchair rugby.
Oh, wow.
It was, oh my God, they were super aggro. And it was awesome. There was also a guy who did, he was a compound bow archer without any arms. And
He used his
feet.
feet.
Yeah.
Of
And he got the
course.
gold. And he's from Colorado. And the interview with him, it made me laugh because he was super charming. And the interview was, yes, I don't have any arms. They don't know why. He was like, because the thing is whenever you watch the Paralympics, as a person who has all of my arms and legs, I kind of want to know what the fuck happened.
Good point.
And it's not polite to ask. So this guy without any arms was like, I was born without arms. They looked into it. Nobody knows why. In other news, my
Wow.
family is here in Paris and we're going to have a great time. And I don't care if I win any medals. And then he won the gold and he was like, and the woman goes, you said you were here for the memories, not the medals. And he looks at her and he goes, well, we didn't come to Paris not to have a good time. And I love this guy. This guy's
Nice.
awesome, right?
Nice. And he's like, and by the way, it still works.
Right. Oh, right. I have children. It's fine. That actually didn't come up, but I'm sure that is one of the things that other people think about. They're like, "Oh, so you have a dick and it doesn't shoot blanks. Good for you, brother." And
You had Brandy Brown, local comedian Brandy Brown, on your podcast, The Dork Forest, talking about crop
seed
art.
Yes.
Did you see how this has made the news again in the last couple days?
Oh,
John Stamos.
Oh, was he into it?
The opposite. Someone shared with him some crop art that someone made for the Minnesota, or I think it was for the State Fair, they did a John Stamos portrait, and they put it on Twitter, and he saw it and reposted it and said, crap art.
Oh, wait. Do you think that he was? I don't know if you know this about John Stamos, but he has about 3 brain cells. He might have not been a funny person. Trying to make a laugh. John Stamos might have been trying to make a funny and failing.
You're thinking he jumped at, oh my God.
Crap.
It's
crop,
so close. I'm going to
crap,
nail this one.
Crop. I know. You know what this makes me? A better person than everyone, because everyone else is like, why are you so mean? And, but
John Stamos would like that just on, just in, is what
right.
you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
You're not.
okay.
I mean, look at Elon Musk. He tried to be funny, and then he found out that everyone is just laughing because he's a billionaire.
Yeah, I think I did my last reply to anyone on Twitter this week. In fact, it was to a post from him, and I just wrote and said, I thought you were supposed to be smart.
Oh, we all have different skill sets, and we don't know what's going to happen, but all we do know is that we can. I am closing my act, by the way, with this story of me being called Karen.
Yes.
Did you see that
Yes.
last night? Or
Yes.
okay,
Yes,
yeah.
I heard it. Yes.
It was so funny because a club owner probably 3 months ago came up to me and he said, when it was brand new, maybe 2 months ago, whatever, because it only happened like 2 or 3 months ago,
Okay.
and said, I have never heard anyone do a bit about how they were definitely not the good guy. And I was like, oh, welcome to my new act. My new hour is entirely me going, I'm trying. It's not entirely successful, but I mean, it's better than me making them the bad guy.
Yeah.
I do have to say that I just wrote a great joke about my mother-in-law where she got to do the punchline. And this is a sign of acceptance, because whenever, like, it's sort of like when I first started doing jokes about my dad, where he wasn't the bad guy in all of it.
Yes.
Was when I really realized that I had forgiven my father for being, occasionally a tool bag.
Sure.
And because everybody's human, and and there's nowhere. What, I'm going to put my mother-in-law in a home? I think not. It's not necessary at this time.
Yeah.
I just have to change her sheets. Like I have to change my own sheets.
I heard
Everybody should be changing their sheets more often, by the way. I don't know how often.
I stand by that as well.
Yeah.
I stand by that as well. I heard your joke about the mother-in-law you're referring to, where she does the line.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
It's a fun one, right?
Very funny.
Yes,
very
because
funny.
she is very funny.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? Everybody's funny. Unless you're super mean or you're John Stamos and you're not that, you don't really get the idea. You're just like,
Yeah.
I say everybody's funny, and now watch me backpedal. Because some people, comedy is hard, but you can find, especially in people that you love, something funny to say about them.
Absolutely. Is Elliot Kashian, your father, still doing art?
Elliot Kashian, my father, just did a series of pigs. Adorable pigs,
Okay.
because the cows went so well. He was like, "What about pigs?" And I said, "What about chickens, Dad? What about?" So he did pigs. I sold all the pigs. I've created a job for myself.
I was gonna say, are you?
I am curating and selling my father's art. It's only $100, and he loves $100. Who doesn't? Who doesn't love $100?
Love it.
So
No cut, and you're not taking a cut
No,
from this.
no, I'm not taking a taste, as my brother Phil would say. No, you're not getting a taste,
A taste.
of any of that? And I'm like, I am not. Thank you. And just because, and sometimes, and don't tell him this, and
Oh, no.
God knows his internet skills are not amazing, just mostly because he doesn't care. I have been trying to explain to him, because they took away his car, I've been trying to explain to him how to use Uber.
Okay.
And he, literally, the last time I brought it up, he was like, I gotta go. I was like, Dad, Uber has a telephone number. It's just like a cab. You call them. We're using Phil Kashian's credit card. It's not even your credit card. And he's like, I don't like the idea of spending $12 at the grocery store to buy $24 worth of groceries and then spending $12 to come back to from the grocery store. I was like, you would rather ruin 4 hours of your nephew's day? Is that what he's like, well, I want to hang out with my nephew. And I'm like, I don't blame you. All right. But they are both young men who are busy. Yeah. And he's like, I know. But they should come pick up their grandpa.
I love
And I'm
it.
like, all right. Whatever.
You brought merch to Minneapolis?
I did got the new merch. I forgot to bring the challenge coins, my dad challenge coins. But just because I have new merch, I finally found a beanie. It's 84 degrees, Justin. Do you want to buy a knit hat?
Yeah, and a sweater and some socks.
Right. It's I just brought the bees, made of bees, t-shirts and hats.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
did pretty good. It's adorable. The artist is Jenny Fine. She is from Minneapolis.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And she's an incredibly great. She's a great graphic designer, and then she's also a fine artist. So JennyFineOriginal.com, I think.
I need. I want to.
She's done a couple of my album covers. She's done some posters for gigs. She's done other T-shirt art for me. She's just really good and very versatile.
I'm going to tell people another reason why they should come see your set this week at Acme, and that is because nowhere else are you going to have a show end with talk of butt stuff, and then the host say, and don't forget to vote.
Oh, I did say something about forget to vote last night.
You did.
That's so funny because I was reminded there's his name's also Nate. It's not Bargatze. San Francisco comic, union organizer, ends every set of his with the words "Rise Up," and I was like, "You could live in Minneapolis." It's It's I don't know. My set has always been sociopolitical, but and it's very funny because I'm clearly a giant. I had one of Andy's cousins is a crazy Republican, and she was like, she brought up Kamala Harris, and I said, well, she's not liberal enough for me, and she's like, wait, she isn't. What is she not doing? And I said, well, I don't think nobody's liberal enough for me. I think universal health care and she's a cop, so why would she be liberal? And and Trump is a thief and a criminal, so I think it's a perfect matchup. And I know she's still black and a woman, and that's sad for people.
Well, we don't know how long she's been black, Jackie.
Oh, right. I think she just.
I've seen pictures. Are we sure?
You remember Lori Kilmartin's joke about her son, his dad is Mexican, and her son asked her, "Am I Mexican or am I white?" And she said, "Well, let's ask a cop." And then the punchline is about what the cop says. I don't want to ruin it, you guys. Sis Will Grief Slut is the name of her
Yes.
album.
Available everywhere.
Available everywhere.
Yes.
My last album, Staycation, filmed right here.
Yep. Oh, so finally, and then, so you're about halfway to recording your next thing?
More than
you say
half.
more than
I
half?
just I want to do it next year, just because I do a new album every 3 to 5 years. A lot of people do them every year. Chad Daniels just put out 3 hours in 1 year, and he can go fuck himself. Because I'm sure they're amazing. I'm sure of it. I'm certain of it, because he is a goddamn delight.
Yeah.
But
He can still go F himself.
yeah, and but I will say that and it doesn't matter how long you wait. You will write tags to jokes that you thought were done right after you record.
Right.
So I
Heard that.
what was it? Was it 2 albums ago? I did a great joke about. It's a great joke, you guys. I just said my own joke was great. Here it is. It's a great joke about how I want to start a dog sleep apnea company where I would make, masks for your dogs. And then the dogs would chew those masks, and then I would become a gajillionaire, right? Well, right after I recorded that, I came up with the name of the company, which was CPUP. And luckily, I got to do that joke on Conan. So it is somewhere. It is.
Have
it
you
has
started
been
the company?
recorded. No, I have not started the company. I did buy FamilyPetAncestry.com.
Yes! I love that.
Because that always makes me laugh. It still points to JackieKashian.com. FamilyPetAncestry.com.
I love it. Never stop doing that. Never. Final question. Harris Walls, your hat. Is that a baseball team somewhere? Or what?
That's a baseball team. Here's what Andy just told me, because it came in the mail, and he said, I figured out what you collect, because he collects everything. He collects Hot Wheels, he collects HeroClix, he collects board games, he collects all the things, comic books, and I enjoy all of those things too, but I wouldn't collect them. I would this is what I would do, and this would be terrifying. This just terrifies the idea. I would read a comic book, and then I would throw it away. And he would be like, no. In a bag.
Yeah.
Filed under Daredevil. Anyway, so
I'm with him.
right, but whatever. But it turns out I like baseball hats. This one made me laugh because it's a camo, which is camo, right? You'd think, hunters, gatherers, whatever. But Waltz, governor of Minnesota, anyway,
Yep.
he's a coach and a hunter guy. He's just a guy.
Yep.
He makes me laugh because I read his speech I don't ever watch any of these people talk.
I heard you say this, yeah.
I don't watch any of these people talk. I
Yeah.
always read whatever they said because it's easier to see the lies. And
very interesting.
I watch clips. I watch, but I'm not going to sit through a speech. I'm not going to sit through the news where somebody opines about what's occurred. I will read the news from various sources. I'm a grown-up lady. I can read, so I don't need to hear your spin on it, Newsmax or ABC. I don't need to hear any of it.
Yep.
It's fine. But so I was reading his speech, and there's a line in his speech where he goes, "We play to the final whistle." And it was a coach thing to say, right? And do you know what that told me? That he was kind of a hard ass of a coach. Because the thing is the coaches that say we play to the final whistle are guys who are like, you give 110%. You don't give up in the middle. So I do admire him. He seems like an incredibly decent human being and public servant. But I also know that he is also that guy.
Yeah.
Who's like, what are you doing? Go. You didn't go to the final circle? I'm going to need 6 laps from you.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right.
Coach.
All right. Yeah, he's coach.
Coach.
Which my brother Russ is a big coach guy who will make you he's a final whistle guy. And so I know exactly what that means.
I love it, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Anyway.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thanks for having me.
We'll do this again in a year, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. See you next year.
All right, perfect. Thank you.